Assalamu alaikum, this is Maria Zulfikar welcoming you all to the English news from Btv Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus stresses on everyone's right to vote freely and fairly without any interruption or threat. Two major port handlers express keen interest in big investments in Bangladesh's shipping industries to help build new ports along coast of Bay of Bengal. Total 7 persons with eye injury during July movement fly to Singapore for better treatment. Moscow ready for mutually respectful dialogue with US President Donald Trump, says Kremlin. And Rangpur Riders retain top spot after end of BPL's Chattogram phase, while final phase to start in Dhaka on January 26. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus has stressed the need for establishing a mechanism so that everyone in Bangladesh can vote freely and fairly without any interruptions or threats. He put the emphasis during a one-on-one conversation with the founder of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, at the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum in Davos, sharing the background stories of the July mass uprising with the global audience. The chief advisor said the students took to the streets in Bangladesh in the July last year with a simple demand: equal opportunity for jobs. Professor Yunus said all the young people who became voters over the last 16 years did not get a chance to vote, which is very unfortunate. The chief advisor said they have targeted the end of this year for the election to take place if people go for a quick reform agenda. The chief advisor said demands from the movement reflected a desire to move beyond the old Bangladesh and work towards creating a new one. Professor Yunus said his government is also working to revive the Bangladesh's economy, restoring foreign reserve and banking system.
There's an outpour of support for the people of Bangladesh and uprising of the students, how to rebuild. The students were saying, we will have to build a new Bangladesh. They don't have to see anything connected with the old Bangladesh. So that's a big task for us. How do you define that new Bangladesh? How do you start that new Bangladesh? And we are committed to create that new Bangladesh. So case by case, you have to restore discipline of the government and the restoration of the bureaucracy, which was serving the previous government. So suddenly they are asked to do something different, which they never had experience of following the rules and procedures. They get an order, they carry it out. That's all they know. An order comes from one single source. So this has become our main issue right now at that time. Judiciary became a weapon in the hands of the government. They punish you, they hang you, not only punish you, they hang you. And many people were hanged during that period in the name of the justice. It's a fake justice. It was decided she should be hanged. She was hanged. Many people disappeared. Thousands of people disappeared. People don't know where they are. Uprising came, we're looking forward to see where they went. Some we found in a little space, lived for 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. They don't know whether it's a day or night, it's a dark room. They're fed, they just touch the food, that's about they know. So wondering, what is the world now look like now? So now we have a commission, the Disappearance Commission, to find out. We have cases of 3,000 such disappeared people. We have so far traced about 1,700 where they are. Many still could not be traced. What happened to them? So there are 15 such judiciary and administrations and so on. So 15 commissions. to recommend us how to start. With the 16 years of term that the old regime was running the country, we had 3 elections, no vote. So we want to undo that, how to create a mechanism so that everybody can vote freely, fairly, so that no interruptions, no threat to anybody to cast their vote freely. So that was a commission. We have targeted end of this year, the election to take place, if we go in a short reform agenda, quick reform agenda. If people say, no, we need a longer list of agenda reform, then we need another 6 months. So now people have to decide in the process whether they will go to the short agenda or the long agenda. Long agenda will need middle of 2026, next year. Short agenda will have it at the end of this year, 2025. That's the election procedure. That's what we're looking for.
Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus has urged foreign investors to invest more in Bangladesh. He said that Bangladesh is now ready for large-scale investment. It has an easy investment process and an improved investment environment. Chief Advisor made these remarks at the meetings with some of the world's top local investment institutions and heads of various international organizations in Davos on Thursday. DP World and AP Moller Maersk, the 2 major port handlers in the world, have expressed their keen interest in making big investments in Bangladesh's shipping industries to help the country build new ports along the coast of the Bay of Bengal and become a major global export hub. Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus asked Meta to take steps to tackle misinformation and fake news being spread through Facebook in Bangladesh. The Chief Advisor made the call when he held talks with Sir Nick Clegg, the head of global affairs at Meta, on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum annual meeting in the Swiss city of Davos. Sir Nick Clegg said Facebook would continue to do fact-checking and digital verification in Bangladesh, as it is an important country with its population the world's 8th largest. American investor Ray Dalio, founder of Marino Management and Dalio Family Office, also called on Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus during World Economic Forum annual meetings in Davos. Besides, Amir Ali Raza, chairman of the executive committee Zenal Group, met Chief Advisor Professor Yunus during the summit. Lamia Morshed, the SDG coordinator of the Bangladesh government, and Tariq Ariful Islam, Bangladesh's permanent representative to Geneva, also joined the meeting. On the sidelines of participating in various events of the World Economic Forum annual conference, Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus held meetings with the heads of several major companies in the world. These meetings have remained very fruitful. Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafiqul Alam said this in an exclusive interview with BTV News in Davos.
ড্যাভোসের সাথে অন্যান্য ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কনফারেন্সের একটা তফাৎটা হচ্ছে যে এখানে বোথ প্রাইভেট সেক্টর এবং পাবলিক সেক্টরের প্রচুর লোক আসেন। আর এইখানে যেটা হয় যে এই পাবলিক সেক্টরের লোকদের সাথে এসে অনেকটা মিট করে প্রাইভেট সেক্টরে। ড্যাভোসকে বলা হয় যে ডিল মেকিংয়ের জন্য ওয়ার্ল্ডের বেস্ট ডেস্টিনেশন। আপনি যদি ডিল মেকিং করতে চান বা আপনি যে নতুন আইডিয়া নিয়ে আসছেন এবং আইডিয়াটা খুব এফেক্টিভ হয়েছে সেটা জানানোর জায়গা হচ্ছে ড্যাভোস। প্রফেসর ইউনুসের যেটা হয়েছে অনেকগুলো মিটিং হয়েছে, মোর দেন 13 মিটিং, এবং খুবই এফেক্টিভ মিটিংগুলো ছিল। ব্রডার থিম ছিল যে আজকে প্রচুর প্রাইভেট সেক্টরের সাথে প্রফেসর ইউনুসের বৈঠক হয়েছে। সকালবেলায় ডিপি ওয়ার্ল্ড এসছিলেন। ডিপি ওয়ার্ল্ড জানিয়েছে যে তারা বাংলাদেশের চিটাং পোর্টের বিশেষ করে নিউ মোরিং কন্টেনার টার্মিনালটাকে তারা অপারেট করতে চায় এবং এটাকে একটা গ্রিন টার্মিনাল হিসাবে তারা ট্রানজিশন করতে চায়। ডিপি ওয়ার্ল্ডের ছাড়াও আজকে মার্কস লাইন যারা গ্রুপ, এটার এপি মোলার মার্কস হচ্ছে ওয়ার্ল্ডের ওয়ান অফ দ্য লার্জেস্ট শিপিং কোম্পানিজ এবং ওরাও একটা বড় পোর্ট অপারেটর। ওরাও বাংলাদেশে আসতে চাচ্ছে, বিশেষ করে চিটাং পোর্টের অদূরে লাল দিয়া পোর্টটা ওরা অপারেট করতে চাচ্ছে এবং বলতেছে যে এইটাকে তারাও একটা গ্রিনফিল্ড টেকনোলজি ইন্ট্রোডিউস করবে যাতে কার্বন ইমিশনটা কম হয় এবং এটা খুব এফিশিয়েন্ট হয়। ওয়ার্ল্ড ব্যাংকের সাথে মিটিং ছিল, ওয়ার্ল্ড ব্যাংক আবারও জানিয়েছে যে তারা বাংলাদেশের সাথে আছে, বাংলাদেশের রিফর্মের কে তারা হেল্প করবে।
A total of 7 people whose eyes were injured during the July movement went to Singapore today for a better treatment. A Biman Bangladesh flight carrying the victims took off from the Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport at 8:30 a.m. The 7 injured who were receiving treatment at the National Institute of Ophthalmology are Abdullah Al-Baki, Akhtar Hussain, Mohammad Yamin, Faiz Ahmed, Minhajul Islam Shubho, Mohammad Ramjan and Salman bin Shoaib. Earlier last night, Mahmudul Hassan, personal assistant of health advisor Nurjahan Begum, along with convener of the cell formed by the National Citizens Committee for Treatment of the Injured Dr. Mahmuda Alam Mitu, handed over the tickets of the flight to the 7 injured. Till now, a total of 13 injured victims of the July uprising have been sent abroad for treatment. The process of sending more injured people for better treatment is in progress. Today is the 10th death anniversary of Arafat Rahman Koko, the younger son of BNP's founder and former president Ziaur Rahman and BNP chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia. On January 24 in 2015, noted sports organizer Koko died of heart attack in Malaysia's Kuala Lumpur. Marking his death anniversary, the BNP organized Milad and Dua Mahfil at its central office in the capital's Noapalton today. At that time, BNP Standing Committee member Mirza Abbas said, "Reform is an ongoing process and it will continue, but due to it, elections can't remain halted." He said a quarter wants to brand the BNP as a broker of India. This quarter will have to face a difficult situation. BNP Senior Joint Secretary General Ruhul Kabir Rizvi, among others, was present at the Milad Mahfil. Later, Dua and Munazat was held seeking eternal peace for the departed soul of Arafat Rahman Koko. BNP Senior Joint Secretary General Ruhul Kabir Rizvi said efforts are underway to form King's Party out of the advisors of the interim government. He said this while talking to journalists after offering prayers at the grave of Arafat Rahman Koko, marking his 10th death anniversary at Bonani Graveyard in the capital today. Koko was the younger son of BNP's founder and former president Ziaur Rahman and BNP chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia. Rizvi said the interim government is an outcome of democratic movements and people want that this government will work for them. He went on saying that the government is giving priority to a specific political party in recruitment of different administrative positions. The government has to correct itself in these cases, otherwise impressions of people will change regarding the interim government, Rizvi added. Earlier, leaders and activists of the BNP offered prayers at the grave of Arafat Rahman Koko and paid floral tributes. Now, international news. The Kremlin said on Thursday it saw nothing new in U.S. President Donald Trump's latest remarks on the Ukraine conflict, but that Moscow was ready for mutually respectful dialogue with him. The new U.S. leaders on Wednesday threatened fresh sanctions on Moscow if it did not strike a deal to end its nearly 3-year offensive on Ukraine. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said this to reporters who asked about Trump's comments. Peskov said it was clear from Trump's first presidency that he liked sanctions and that Moscow was closely following his statements. Expectations are high that Russian President Vladimir Putin and Trump will soon hold a phone call on the conflict in the coming days. Russia's troops have been advancing on the battlefield in recent months, while both Moscow and Kiev have increased their aerial attacks deep behind the front lines. In a post on Truth Social, Trump on Wednesday told Putin to make a deal now and threatened high levels of taxes, tariffs, and sanctions. In the second part of a Fox News interview, Donald Trump says he would rather not impose tariffs on China, while saying it was their one very big power over Beijing. Trump said he thinks a trade deal between the US and China could be reached, in a change of the tone from his comments on the campaign trail. Since returning to the White House, he has threatened to hit China with 10% tariffs because of the large amounts of the opioid fentanyl that he says is being sent from China to the US through Mexico and Canada. His comments highlight how the US president appears to be using the threat of tariffs as a negotiating tactic. The US president also says he plans to reach out to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and calls him a smart guy. Meanwhile, a US judge has temporarily blocked Trump's order to change a birthright citizenship, which was slated to take effect in February. Meanwhile, speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Trump says Canada could avoid tariffs if it chooses to become a state of the US. Israeli troops killed 2 more Palestinians in the occupied West Bank as plans announce to expand their military assault on the Jenin refugee camp that has killed at least 10 people and wounded dozens since Tuesday. Israel's military and intelligence service said a series of operations will be carried out in Jenin as Israel fights a multi-front war that has now shifted to the occupied West Bank. As humanitarian aid trucks continue to surge into Gaza, the UN's Agency for Palestinian Refugees UNRWA warns that Palestinians returning to their homes in the war-torn enclave will find most of them destroyed or uninhabitable. Israel's war on Gaza has killed at least 47,283 Palestinians and wounded 111,472 since October 7, 2023. Meanwhile, the Lebanese group Hezbollah has demanded that Israeli forces complete a withdrawal from the country's south in line with terms of the ceasefire deal agreed by the two sides. Back to national news. Information and Broadcasting Secretary Mahbooba Farzana has emphasized on children, adolescent and women's health and nutrition development, breastfeeding, maternal health protection and awareness to prevent child marriage with a view to ensuring social and national development. She emphasized the importance while speaking as the chief guest at the Youth Festival 2025, an outdoor program at DC Park in Chattogram this afternoon. The Information and Broadcasting Secretary said the government is conducting broadcasting activities for the development of children, adolescents and women. Bangladesh Television organized the program under the Project on Awareness Promotion for the Development of Children, Adolescents and Women implemented by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Chattogram Deputy Commissioner Farida Khanam presided over, while Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting Dr. Muhammad Altaful Alam, Joint Secretary Riyasat Al-Wasif, General Manager of Bangladesh Television Dhaka Center Nurul Azam and Assistant Director of the project Mahbooba Firdaus addressed the occasion. Later, an attractive cultural program was performed with the participation of the star artists of the country. A large number of audience from various classes and professions enjoyed the program. Now, sports news. Cricket. Rangpur Riders have retained the top spot at the end of the Chattogram phase of the BPL. They lost to Durbar Rajshahi in the last match of the Chittagong phase. However, Rangpur has 16 points with 8 wins and 1 loss in 9 matches. The team had previously secured a place in the last 4 by winning 8 consecutive matches. Fortune Borishal is in second place in the points table. Their achievement is 12 points from 6 wins in 8 matches. Chittagong Kings, who are in third place, have collected 10 points from 9 matches. Chittagong is still in the fight to make it to the top 4. Khulna Tigers are in fourth place in the points table. They have won 4 out of 9 matches. Durbar Rajshahi has emerged as a strong contender for the top 4 by winning 4 out of 10 matches. They're in fifth place in the table. Dhaka Capitals, who are in sixth place in the points table, have won 3 out of 10 matches. Select Strikers are in seventh place, have won only 2 of their 9 matches. The final phase of the BPL will start in Dhaka on January 26.